Hey there, and welcome to That's Audacious, where we share entrepreneurial stories from amazing leaders to inspire and motivate you to be bold, brave, and audacious. I'm your host, Lauren Clement, the brand navigator, here to share stories that will make you say, well, that's audacious. Hello and welcome to another episode of the That's Audacious podcast. We have a fabulous guest with us today, the founder and principal broker of 2020 Finance, the lovely Tammie Rimon. Now, Tammie has nearly 2 decades of experience helping Australians achieve their property and finance goals, and she's really passionate about guiding people to build lasting wealth by being just a little bit smarter and a bit more strategic with their property investing. And I know, Tammie, you started your business with your husband as well, so I'd love to know, you're still together too, which is awesome. So I'd love to know a bit about that too. But tell us a little bit, Tammie, about yourself and how you got into what you're doing.
So basically, I was working in the banking environment, and that's how I met my husband, and loved it. It was literally like a duck to water. I really enjoyed it, and it was not really about the numbers. It was about actually playing that role of supporting clients to achieve, because no one really wants the loan; they just want got the asset at the end of it type thing. So it's really exciting to be part of that. And that was where I met my husband, as I said, and we decided that we would go out on our own in 2015. And it was a real adjustment for our relationship, because in the previous dynamic, he was my boss and he had the final say, whereas this time we were co-owners. So there was a few teething problems, but we are still married and happily.
I love it. And where did the name 2020 come from?
We really sat down and brainstormed it when we were coming up with a name, and we felt like 2020 vision is, about transparency and clarity, and we felt like, we can deliver that to our clients. So having 2020 vision in terms of their finance goals, to come, basically.
Yeah, because it can get very confusing, can't it? I mean, I know there's plenty of lenders out there, but most people just go for the lowest rate, don't they? It's like a race to the bottom, but there's so much more to it than that, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. It was only this morning, a client that I spoke to about 6 months ago, and they were looking to buy an investment property, great equity in their current home. And from all accounts, there was a deal there, and they had a property under contract to purchase as an investment. And then they just sort of disappeared. The communication stopped, and I don't know what happened. But anyway, I moved on. Just reconnected with them and found out that they went direct to their bank for the loan, and the bank knocked them back because it didn't fit their policy. So they terminated the contract and they missed out on that property. And I could have written that deal. So sadly, that's an opportunity they've missed because they went direct to bank. Whereas a broker, you've got so many more options.
So is it with a broker that it just is you've got a bigger pool of lenders you can go to, or is there more flexibility than that as well that you offer?
Yeah, it's both, because we really take a holistic look at the client's situation. I'm not an order taker. So sometimes you have clients come in that have got quite a lot of finance experience and they've got a pretty clear idea of what they want. And even those clients, I really like to step back and actually ask some deeper questions around, what their plans are in the short, medium and long term. And even if they don't know, there's other questions we can ask to have them kind of figure that out. So it's all about really having a plan and then making sure that we have got those goals and objectives in mind from day dot.
Yeah, you really are almost a financial advisor, aren't you? Or a consultant around how do they set themselves up for long-term security rather than just, hey, let's get hold of an investment property, or let's try and get ourselves into our first home.
And, absolutely, because the wrong structure or the wrong product can have a huge bearing on their ability to move forward with the next step of their project, be it, retiring, be it buying investment property or building their dream home or whatever. I've seen some clients come to me where their structure has been just set up for them because that's what they've asked for, and they didn't know any different. And sometimes it's not possible to unravel that either. So it's really important to have a holistic approach.
And do you think also it's a case of often people will, I'll just go with my bank because that's who I know, and there's a little bit of that unknown element to people making those decisions as well?
I think so. I mean, there's definitely a percentage of the population, the borrowers, I should say, that will go direct to their bank because it's familiar. But the brokers have just under 78% of market share now, which is significant. When we joined the industry in 2015, we were in the 40%. So that's a huge shift in a 10-year period. And it's not usually until one of their friends or family says to them that they've had this experience with a broker, and word gets out there that they actually consider it. But the younger generation, so your first home buyers and the like, more often than not, they are turning to a broker than a bank. So they do look at things a bit more holistically rather than just the simplest, quickest, easiest solution.
Yeah, so let's talk about that generational shift as well, because I know one of your key passions is the gender financial education gap, and how there's a lot of women out there, especially in those high risk age groups, so the retiring age group, who just don't have the super, they don't have those funds behind them equal to their husband or the men in their lives and so on. And also the younger women coming through who also don't seem to have that same adaptability to really learn about the financial structure for their lives. What are you doing to really help those people understand and learn?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because the younger demographic, not dissimilar to previous generations, they don't really sort of start to think about finance until they're probably in their late 20s is when they start to think about it. Whereas, I think you asked any 50-year-old today what they wish they, knew when they were 18, it would be the best time to get into property was yesterday, and the second best time is today. The younger generation to the concept of how to position themselves doesn't have to be when they're 18, but certainly if they get the habits in place, the earlier the better. So we work with local schools, and a lot of our clients are first home buyers now, or they are looking for their first home, so they refer their family and friends. And I like to encourage all first home buyers to bring mum or dad, uncle, auntie, sister, whoever is important in their circle to come with them, because things might have changed a bit since mum and dad last borrowed money. So it's about getting everybody on the same page and really and supporting them. So checking in with them, so if I've got them on a savings plan to get their deposit sorted, getting their permission to follow up with them in 3-6 months' time and finding out how they're going with it, teaching them how to position themselves for it. And then the other side of the coin, women that are on their own, they have got half the resources of, a partnership type situation, and also just the sheer, financial impact of a separation or things like that can be quite devastating. And some of them feel quite disheartened, and as though they're never going to be able to enter the market. So just through information and education with our clients, we teach them that it may or may not be a home you will reside in, but if we can get you set up, if you've got any form of deposit, be it in your super fund or outside of super, you can still enter the property market. And then maybe when the children, if there's kids involved, if the kids are older and income's a bit higher, costs are a bit lower, they might be able to then, liquidate some assets and purchase something to live in. But we've got to just take one step at a time, but it doesn't have to be, it's game over for me. But the sooner they start planning, same with the first home buyers, the sooner they start planning, the more realistic it's going to be that they will achieve their goal.
It really is about that 2020 vision, isn't it? It's about really learning and understanding so that you can get the process down and take those initial steps to start setting yourself up on the right path.
And the other thing is too, I sort of see commonly, is that the dynamic of a relationship, there's usually one party of the relationship that handles the finances and the other party defaults to that, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is a problem when there is a separation and you or the one of the partners is not the financial manager. It's literally like, where do I start? So it can be really overwhelming. So I would just say, start with education. Follow some interesting people on social media and in the market, like the 2020 wealth page, things like that, but just incidental tips and tricks and hints and support to be able to get yourself primed, ready to actually purchase property again.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it. You are listening to the That's Audacious podcast. If you like what you're hearing, there are plenty of other episodes. You'll find them on your favorite podcast channel, and you can like and subscribe to get more from us. Now, Tammie, one of the things I know that you've had as a real passion project as part of your business is the 2020 Wealth Club, which is quite innovative. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what that is and why you started it?
Yeah, because I personally have a really strong passion and interest in the property market, and I know what it's done for my husband and I personally. And I knew nothing about property ownership at one point, and so I wanted to be able to share that, because the more I would speak to clients that we'd be talking about rate reviews and things like that, and I would advise them, you've got a really good level of equity in your property. Have you ever thought about considering an investment property? And the surprising number of people that said no, never thought of it. And I think, really, like, it's been on my radar for most of my life. So I figured, I was assuming that everybody knew how to do it, and that was wrong. So I've formed the 2020 Wealth Club so that I can have some experts sharing really easy to interpret and understand information to help people become either first-time investors, first-time buyers, upgraders, and the pitfalls and things to avoid, stuff like that. And it's all free. It's just about educating my clients and relationships.
I love it. So if you're interested in that, check out, there'll be some links below this podcast to help you find out more about Tammie and 2020 Finance, but also the 2020 Wealth Club. It's such a great way to do it, Tammie, because in reality, you can't duplicate yourself, right? Even though you want to make this big impact. So having a club where you've got multiple experts coming in and giving of their knowledge and expertise and educating people is a great way to do it. So Tammie, one of the things we've been doing together is really building the profile of yourself and the business with awards. How's that journey been for you?
It's been excellent. It's been really, really good. What it's been great for is just receiving a little bit of acknowledgement for the efforts that the team and I have been making over the last decade. But moreover than that, it's really forced me to dig deep into tracking leading indicators and lagging indicators, and getting some real data around what my existing business does or doesn't do. Do you know what I mean? So that, because you asked me for all of that information, so I thought that's actually a real weakness, that I didn't actually automatically track some of those things. So that's been really good. But the accolades and the recognition from industry and other peers, it's been a really positive, had a really positive impact on my business, for sure, and me personally.
Also, it is an interesting process, isn't it, that makes you stop and think about the impact that you're actually having, because so often we get tied up in the day-to-day and the hustle and bustle of what needs to be done and putting out the next fire or answering the next telephone call, and not realizing what we're actually achieving in the long term.
Yeah,
so that's
so
exciting.
true. Yeah, true. No, it's great.
And with the awards, has there been anything that you've got back from the industry or from your clients or your team about what they think about those?
Yeah, I have actually. I've had lots of clients, lots of people on my LinkedIn network comment, and when I bumped into another Stevie nominee and winner at an FBAA function recently, and we took a selfie, two silver Stevie winners at the FBAA function. It's really cool. But no, the aggregators made great mention of it. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice to receive the recognition.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it. I love it. Now, at the end of these fabulous interviews that we have with amazing, extraordinary people doing amazing things, is the one question: if you could go back in time and ask yourself for some advice, what advice would you give yourself in order to help you maybe improve where you are right now?
I think the biggest thing I have learned, probably the hardest way, has been when recruiting. I have been most successful when I have recruited someone who's new to the industry, but has got the right personality fit, the right culture fit, right attitude, work ethic, and we've taught them the industry. So every member of my team was brand new to industry when they came to me. And I have to say, I've got the best team. They are just absolute dynamite. And, there's been other people that have joined our group and just it didn't work, and they might have come with years and years of experience in the industry. But I just have really found that's going to be the only way I recruit moving forward, is going to be new to industry, but with the right attitude and personality fit.
Yeah, finding the fit and teaching the skills is often the best way to go, isn't it? But that's a great outtake. Do you think the right people will be attracted to your business now that you've got lots of awards as well for what you do? Has that been helpful?
Yeah, I believe it has. Our last edition, Kira, she had heard about our business before we even spoke. And certainly, when they do a bit of research about our business, all of the accolades and whatnot come up. So I do. I think we're going to attract A-grade quality team members, yeah.
Because you're now growing as well, aren't you? You're scaling your business and expanding and moving into commercial premises and just going like mad.
Yeah, definitely. We've outgrown where we are, and so it's really exciting that we move into a commercial premises in a couple of weeks' time. And I really want to bring more women to this industry, and if in a broker role or a broker support, because it is an industry and a role that does support a balance of work and life. If you've got family, working from home, things like that, we offer massive flexibility to all of our team, and they love it. And we are grateful to have them. So whatever it takes,
I love it. I love it. It's awesome. So if you want to know more about 2020 Finance Brokers, please, there'll be links at the bottom of this podcast and this blog. Check it out. Get some great advice. Talk to Tammie and the team. Check out the 2020 Wealth Club, which is free advice available to you to find out everything you need to know to educate yourself about how to set yourself up for a secure financial future. Tammie, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here.
Thank you. Thanks, Lauren, so much. And thanks for everything you guys have done for us this year. It's been amazing.
Thanks so much for listening to the That's Audacious podcast. Remember, there's no place for modesty in business, and you do deserve to be well known, well paid, and wanted. For more episodes, please subscribe to the podcast on your favourite channel or follow us online. The links are in the description below.